Hi, and welcome to the Sabbath Christian Church's online sermon, Revelation 8. The Lamb broke the seventh seal. Not going into all the details, and seventh is a fascinating subject. And there was silence in the heavens for about half an hour. Quiet. And then he saw the seventh angels who stand before God, and the seven trumpets were handed to them. Let's go back to Exodus 19:9, our most powerful. It says, when God gave the tremendous light and heat to the sound of trumpets, just before he gave them the Ten Commandments. Sound of trumpets, a special sound of the commandments, the words of love. Then another angel came and stood at the altar, holding a golden censer, and much incense was given to him. What's the point of the incense being given to him? Well, with the incense, the power of the smell grows with the heat. So it adds to the prayer of the golden altar. It adds to the prominence when Moses met with God. And in Exodus 3:2, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a blazing fire from the midst of the bush, and look, behold, the bush was burning with fire, and the bush was not consumed. As we can see from the past and always, all the things in Revelation didn't come as a startling thing. God prophesied these things to his people many times, and we can't go into all those details. And the smoke of the incense was like the prayers of the saints. Then the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and threw it to the earth, and the peals of thunder and lightning and flashes and lightning and earthquakes, again going back to Exodus 19:19, just before we get to 20 and just before we get to Deuteronomy 5, when the words are written in stone, period. This time Moses didn't break them. And it says the seven angels had seven trumpets prepared to sound the trumpets, just as God had the trumpets when he gave the commandment just before. The first sounded and came with hail, fire mixed with blood, and they were thrown to the earth, and a third of the earth was burned up. This also comes from prophecies in the past. The grass, trees, everything was burned up. And here we see it in the past from Exodus. Moses stretched out his staff toward the sky, and the Lord sent thunder and hail and fire down to the earth, and the Lord destroyed without going into all the details, he destroyed everything just like he is going to destroy everything in Revelation. The hail struck the fields and all the land of Egypt. Everything was struck and destroyed, just as it was prophesied and given to us in Revelation. This time was not just the land of Egypt, but the house of bondage. A lot of houses of bondage around. Moving on a little bit more, Revelation 8:8 says, the second angel sounded. A great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. A third of the sea became blood. We have several examples of that from Noah and to Moses. A third of the creatures which were in the sea and life had died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. Everything went down under. It was prophesied, and it's happening. Then the third angel sounded, and a star from heaven, burning like a torch, fell on the third of the rivers and waters, everything. wormwood. A third of the wars became wormwood, and many men died and were made better, as the prophecy said about the water. He struck the water that was in the Nile, on the side of the Pharaoh and the servants, and all that was in the Nile turned to blood. Prophecy, not only a prophecy, had amazing aspect. The fish in the Nile died, and the Egyptians could not drink the water from the Nile throughout the land. Then it shows up again in Revelation. What was prophesied is going to happen. Fiat, complete. Fourth angel sounded, a third of the sun, and stars were struck, a third of them would be darkened. Just as it said in Ezekiel, I will cover the heaven and darken their stars. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon will not give its light. All of these things continue to go on. I will set darkness on your land. Again, God prophesies it to happen in Revelation, soon to come. An eagle in the heavens. He said with a loud voice, mid-haven, woe to those who dwell on the earth, the remaining blasts of the trumpet that are about to sound. The prophecies of the past come true in Revelation, will come true in Revelation. And thank you for watching and listening.